Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 5-Star Joshi Show here on the Fight Game Media Network. I am your host, as always, Scott Edwards, and I am here with you for the first time in a long time on YouTube. This is our new free version. If you're listening here on the YouTube channel, you're seeing me, you're seeing Trent. But if you're listening to me on Patreon, thank you as always for listening. This will be the new way we share the 5-star in a free version. It will be up on YouTube. It'll be live. It won't always be Trent, but it will always be me. So don't
You
you
won't
worry.
always be this lucky, but got to
No,
kick things off with a bang.
no,
It's all
no.
downhill from here.
Right. And today's episode, of course, features two big time topics. So I thought, what better way than to have my Ocean Cyclone show folks on to celebrate? Of course, starting off here with Trent, as we're going to do some Cinderella Tournament bracketology here as we preview the big show, the big tournament that,
Wait, the
of
big
course,
show's in this. That's a bit
thankfully, no.
unfair.
Thankfully,
How
well,
can you
there
throw
are,
him over the
hey,
top rope?
there are two X's.
Mm.
So you never know. You never know. But and then later on, Ryan Dilbert of Wrestling joins me to talk TJPW Grand Princess 2023. So you won't want to miss that. That will be on the Patreon version only if you're listening right now to me on YouTube. Of course, that you already are there if you're listening to this first. But nonetheless, let's get into it. Trent, how are you on this fine? It doesn't matter. How are you?
This fine day. It's just a day. We don't need to be specific, and I'm doing okay.
Well,
I'm
night,
getting
so
excited because we're talking Cinderella Tournament. It's a chance for me to prove how dumb I really am.
Hey, me too.
Because whenever these things come across, like I always have a strong opinion, like this is the direction they're going. I've been following Stardom long enough, I can make sense of everything. And then I get proven wrong time and time again. Now, obviously, we all got Julia right last year, winning the 5-star Grand Prix, but that's the middle square in a bingo card. The Cinderella Tournament is generally like in the corner or something. It's not so easy. And for the longest time, I think both of us were pretty confident in our picks. And then Spanner got thrown into the works when they just decided to book the match we thought they'd use the Cinderella Tournament to build to. So it's kind of wide open. It's kind of interesting this year.
Which, mind you, I welcome. I was very happy when that happened because the excitement of the Cinderella is the surprises. And last year we got the biggest surprise when Mariah won the whole damn thing. Everyone saw it on the graphic earlier. If you're watching the YouTube, here it is again. Mariah won the whole damn thing, and the rest is history, right? She went on to become one of the very best in all of Stardom, one of the very best in all of Joshi. She still hasn't got that title yet, but we're waiting for it. It's going to come soon enough. But looking at the bracket this year, which if you would like to see, it is up here in front of you. Make sure to have the bracket up because we're going to be talking about each and every time. It makes it life easier for you if you know what we're talking about. I'll do my best to describe it along the way as well because it's kind of what I'm supposed to do as a podcast host is try to give you a visual in your head. But it's a crazy bracket, so bear with me because some of the bracket is simple and some of the bracket not so much. But it's a very exciting time for Stardom, as it always is. The Cinderella Tournament is a favorite of mine. I know some people, not here, me and Trent aren't those people, but some people do want to see this tournament change. I welcome the way this tournament does because otherwise it wouldn't be the Cinderella Tournament. The Cinderella Tournament creates stars. We've seen it year after year after year. At the end of the day, it doesn't need to be a New Japan Cup style tournament to create a star. It just needs to be entertaining.
And needs to have the right winner, someone who can be a star.
Well, yeah. But you don't necessarily want, Utami winning this, for example, right? But you would
Why don't
like,
you want Utami to win?
because she's already a star. That was my whole point. She's already a star. She's already a main eventer. For example, I'll give you an example here. Say a certain Mariah for last year. We'll just go with Mariah last year. Mariah was obviously in for a push. We saw that very clearly, I think, if you were paying attention. seeing that she got a title match right off the bat. It was happening, right? But we never, I don't think anyone saw the whole run. And once it happened, like I said earlier, established from there. Now we look at this bracket this year. I have no idea what's happening. Trent has no idea what's happening. We're going to be fools together because that's what brackets are all about, right? That's what the whole point of March Madness is. Everyone thinks, oh, I looked at the stats. I brought the stories together, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. We're all going to be idiots in the end. There's going to be some 16th seed that goes all the way here, and that's okay. That's what I'm excited for. We have
It doesn't help when two of the members aren't even announced yet.
We got two teams here that aren't even announced. I keep calling them teams. I'm back in March Madness mode. We got two competitors here that aren't even announced. One of them could be like Kyrie for all we know. You know, it's like it's going to be someone that could go deep. So we're going to try to break it down. We're going to try to make it seem like we know what we're talking about. At the end of the day, no one actually knows what they're talking about with the Cinderella, and that's the fun of it all.
I'm just going to hang my hat on the fact that I had Mariah going to the final last year. Didn't have a winning, but making the final.
Yeah, who'd you have?
I had Himeka winning. She did end up challenging for the title at the Cinderella Tournament final, so I consider that like a half point. So when you factor in I got one of the finalists, that's like
but can I take the point away from you?
No, you can't.
Because she's retiring a year later.
That's not like in the Arisa Hashiki won the Cinderella tournament and then she retired. So like
that's harsh, man. No, that's a low blow. No, that's enough. You're not no. Never mind. The show's over, folks. Thanks for coming. Rude. Terrible. Anyways, let's move forward. Let's talk about the tournament. So obviously the first night is this Sunday after New Blood Premium. I'm not going to be previewing New Blood Premium. I'll just review it next week, folks. I hope Mariah and Tomoki Inaba win, okay? There you go. There's my preview. That's about where I'm at when it comes to that tournament and that show.
But two free show previews here.
Hey, you're welcome, everyone. But looking at this card, the first night card, it's very exciting. It is a very exciting card. Look at all these great matchups. You know, you got Mariah and Hana and kind of a preview of the future main event scene. You got Shuri and Tomoki Inaba. I mean, come on, folks. What's not to love about that? You have, Ami Sourei and Yumi Mizumori, which interests me, obviously, because these two have kind of come onto the scene as two powerhouses in Stardom over the past year. And then all these.
This is really the stacked section.
This is just insane. You got Saya Kamatani and Mayu Iwatani going head to head. Natsupoi and Mina Shirakawa once again. Tam Nakano and Himeka. Maika and Momo Watanabe. Starlight Kid and Haruka Umasaki. Julia and Mai Sakurai. Natsuko Tora and Ruaka, which is very intriguing first round matchup. I'll tell you that. I don't think a lot of people are talking about that. Azumi versus Hazuki. And of course, our opening contest per the bracket. Utami Hayashida versus Nanai Takahashi.
Talk about making a difficult match straight off the bat.
Oh yeah. This first round is so much better than last year's.
There's a lot of heavy hitting matches here, which you could put this as like a main event level match, and it makes a lot of sense. And here we are, it's 10-minute sprint. It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. Given these two have kind of had a little bit of back and forth bickering since Nanai poked her head out and started appearing back in Stardom. So there's a little bit of, congestion here between them.
Yeah, so let's start there, obviously. Utami versus Nanai Takahashi. It's going to be a brutal 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be vicious. I know some people don't like Nanai. I know that's a very, very much still a thing after all.
Can't handle the passion.
No, can't handle the passion. They need passion injection matches. Not just the roster, the fans need passion injection matches. But I think Nanai, teaming with you has been nothing but fantastic. I think they've been absolutely wonderful together. And I've enjoyed the passion injection matches. I think Lady C had the best singles match of her career with Nanai. I think Waka had the best singles match of her career with Nanai. And I think that's part of the New Blood Premium excitement is the Waka match with Nanai. Of course, Kairi's in it now, so the things change. But originally, that was a lot of the excitement heading into that show without Kairi announced. So, and then you have Utami trying to get back on track, trying to just get something going. She had a hot end of the year last year. She had a good 5-star. She had a big title match with Shuri, which was absolutely phenomenal. But otherwise, it's been kind of quiet. She made it to the IWGP title finals, but
drew with Kairi, which is impressive. Yeah. The first person since Kairi started wrestling again to not lose. Oh no, Saya
well. Too. Yeah, it's okay. But everyone's looking for a little momentum here, and I'll give my prediction first. I am the host. I'll be the one to maybe be wrong first. I think they go to a 10-minute draw.
Oh, you got a draw right off the bat here.
I do. Well, I don't think they're going to wrestle the first match of the night. So.
No. I mean, sometimes you open strong. I debated whether to call this one a draw because we know there's going to be one or two. Definitely at least one in the first round.
At least in the first round.
Yeah. I've decided to go with Nanai in this one, mainly because I think in Utami's position, she can afford a loss to Nanai, be it over the top rope or any other way, because she doesn't have a lot of momentum right now. I don't think it's going to hurt her that much to lose to Nanai in the Cinderella tournament. And Nanai is going to be someone that when someone does beat her in this, it's a really nice big step up. It's a real proving point. So I think Nanai wins here to give someone the rub in the second or third round.
This was the only match when it was announced that I was like, well, that's probably a draw. Just because, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because of the Nanai factor, and I don't see her. I don't see her losing. If that makes sense. I see
it's a Cinderella tournament that you can easily not lose.
I know, but it's still Nanai.
Yeah.
I just see these two beating the snot out of each other for 10 minutes, and then that's how you get Utami out of the tournament for a second year in a row. Via, honestly, it was going to just be any big powerhouse main eventer that faced Utami that I just expected this to happen, and I happened to be the one, and I can't wait for it. It's a shame because I wish one of these two would win because they of course will go on to face Micah or Momo Watanabe, and that alone is oh, come on, give me that match. So you have Nanai moving on. I have a double
Rossi special.
A Rossi special draw to eliminate both.
Someone has to have passion here.
Someone's got to have passion. But let's talk about Micah versus Momo Watanabe. I think we're all picking Micah here. Poor Momo. Just doesn't seem like it seems like a good spot for Momo to be eliminated in the first round. Micah definitely has some backing behind her heading into the tournament for prediction wise. There's this big thing called the Fukuoka show that that follows All-Star Grand Queendom. Yes. I got there. I draw blanks every time we talk about it. It's fine.
To be fair, we just had Grand Princess.
Now, I have thought about this with the Cinderella tournament, not Micah. That has nothing to do with Micah.
You can think about Micah.
Last year, right, they had the Fukuoka show, and then Mirai challenged, for example. So I'm wondering, and I'm not saying I'm picking Micah. I'm not saying that. But I'm just wondering, for those who may be thinking Micah might win this, I could very much see herself earning a title shot in this tournament without winning it to get that Fukuoka match. And then
she can match up with Julia if you look at the brackets.
And then whoever wins the tournament will get a title match at the pay-per-view after, much like Mirai did.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, the person who wins the tournament doesn't even have to challenge Julia. They can be worrying about the white belt champions. So.
And with the Fukuoka show, last year they did a Wonder of Stardom championship match only. I could see them do one or the other.
Yeah.
Leave one title off, and then you have the big show after that. So
for sure.
So I'm picking Micah. You're picking Micah.
I'm picking Micah as well.
All right, simple enough. We move forward here. We got Julia versus Mai Sakurai and Azumi versus Zuki in the next part of the bracket. Now, Julia versus Mai Sakurai, pretty easy. Julia. We're not gonna make that one difficult, right? What we are gonna make difficult, and I think this is a fair conversation to have, right, is Azumi versus Hazuki, because of course there's this big IWGP Women's Title match is also coming up in the future.
Yes,
and
very
I don't
soon.
know how much that plays into anything, but it is worth keeping in mind because when you think of like Mina as a challenger and Tam as a challenger in this tournament, you're like, well, you know, you kind of maybe want to protect them at least one round too. So, assuming Hazuki is not getting added into that match, which we still, I guess, technically don't know. You know,
Yeah.
Hazuki brought it up, but Mercedes never said anything about that, so I'm guessing she didn't actually get put into it. That has left me picking the shocker here and flipping the switch from last year, because they faced off last year where Hazuki won. I think Azumi actually wins this time because for some reason we have to break my heart of never getting the one-on-one high-speed title match between them.
This is the closest thing, and like it's going to be sub 10 minutes, so it works. It's kind of a fake high-speed title match. I think Hazuki wins here because this is how Hazuki gets added to the Sakura Genesis match. Because obviously she came out and, you know, put her name forward, and Azumi half accepted. We haven't heard anything from Mercedes. But like if Hazuki beats Azumi here, now she has legitimate claim to saying, well, I deserve the title shot. But Azumi already got accepted. So I haven't checked New Japan their schedule whether this match is like has officially added on there, Azumi versus Mercedes. But yeah, I think after this match, Hazuki challenges officially. I don't think we necessarily get Mercedes doing like a video piece for the show, but I think this is where it kind of gets confirmed, or at the very least set up properly.
Interesting. Yeah, I just think the Hazuki idea was just to pump up this match.
It could be. Like, it's just weird to me that they
Azumi shuts it down instead.
Yeah, it'd just be weird for me to think that they're gonna hint at it and, you know, push it forward like that if then they don't go ahead with it. It's like, well, what a you know, a tease.
I guess the way I will play devil's advocate here is that Mercedes wants the match with Azumi. That's what she wants. She doesn't want anyone else in there.
She's scared of Hazuki. That what you're saying, Scott?
Admittedly,
Scott Edwards says Mercedes
I would
scared.
As she should be. But so you have Hazuki moving on, I have Azumi moving on, and obviously we have Julia moving on. Mariah May versus Rina. Mariah May.
Yeah, I don't think this one's a question.
No, Mariah May was someone I thought could make an absolute run in this tournament, and I guess by
you saw who she had to face next.
I guess by default she kind of does get to make a run because she gets a free round.
yeah.
But other than that, I was like, man, she got tough placement in this one. Let's move down to the bottom left side of the bracket for those listening at home. We have Shuri versus Tomoka Inaba and Momokogo versus Saki Kashima. Obviously, Shuri versus Tomoka Inaba is one of the most exciting matches of the entire tournament. Whether it's beginning or end, I don't give a shit. This is why we're here, folks. This is the type of match we're here for. We're both picking Shuri, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm not expecting a surprise here.
I'd love an upset. Don't get me wrong. I'd love the upset here, but I don't expect it.
No.
And with Saki and Momokogo, I pick Saki Kashima because for some reason I need Saki Kashima versus Shuri at all times.
No, to me, like whenever there's a chance to get Shuri versus Saki Kashima, I think they default to making this happen. I don't think it's a coincidence that these two are in the same little spot here on the bracket. Because I even thought, like at first, I thought, Momokogo did beat Saki Kashima in the 5-Star Grand Prix. They could do it again. And then I looked at who they'd be facing in the second round. I'm like, they're not passing up the opportunity for Saki Shuri 7 or 8 or whatever we're at.
Yeah, it's pretty much like the biggest rivalry in the sport today. So why would you pass that up?
I know some people were excited about the bloodline, but this is the true, top story.
Yeah, the last time they faced off, Shuri knocked out Saki. So it's time for Saki to get some revenge. That's what I'm thinking. I actually, based on my bracket, I am not thinking that. Only because of this next part of the bracket, which is Saya Kamatani versus Mayu Iwatani and Lady C versus X. X here to ruin my day because I don't know who it is, so I can't really guess. Because I'll be honest with everybody. I think one of the two X's is going to be a legit person that's going to make a little run. That said, I can't in good faith predict which one because I have no idea. I just can't do it. So I'm just going to play safe here. Like with when I did a New Japan Cup bracket, I picked Sonata to go like to the semifinals just because I was like, well, there's a chance he does really well. And he ended up doing really well, obviously. But I'm trying to be safe here while also like, and this is one of those times where it's like, I think X is winning. I think X beats Lady C. Okay.
I don't think that's a bold prediction, no matter who it is.
I didn't think so either. But if it's Saida in a mask, then maybe it is bold. And
to be fair, the Super Strong Starlight Machine, not Saida, but I think that's who you think you mean.
What about the Sexy Dynamite, whatever the hell it's called?
Well, I don't know about that one, but Super Strong Starlight Machine is better at winning than Saida.
That's true. Well, I'm just saying the Sexy Dynamite. I don't know what the last name of Sexy Dynamite Stardom Machine person is.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't expect that person to be one of the X's.
I think you're on point. You mentioned to me a day or two ago.
Thank you.
That you think one of the X's is Waka.
And yeah.
Because it's going to be the day after the New Blood Premium show. Presuming she's still in the company, I think it would make sense that she then gets added here. And they didn't want to include her on the bracket because how could she be on there if she's potentially out of the company?
You're right. Walker should win the Cinderella. I'm so with you, man.
Hey, it could happen. It could happen depending on
the she just gets one win and then never loses again.
I actually think she's this X. I think she's going to be the one facing Lady C.
Okay. And then Saya and Mayu. This screams draw.
you mentioned Utami and the Nai stuck out straight away to you as the quote unquote draw. This is the one as soon as I saw him like draw. Because Saya Kamatani has a big Wonder of Stardom Championship defense at All Star Dream Queendom.
Does she?
So well, presumably she's defending the title there. I don't think she's putting the title up before then. And Mayu Iwatani now we know is going to be challenging the IWGP Women's Champion. So I don't think they want either of them to outright lose, even though Cinderella Tournament loss isn't that big a deal. I think this one is the logical 10-minute draw, kind of protects both of them, which would then mean Waka, presuming Waka's the X here, beats Lady C and gets to basically get a free pass into the quarterfinals, which is kind of a nice little uplifting moment for her, even if she doesn't go any further. Like, she wins New Blood. She's finally got a win. She beats Lady C, back-to-back victories, and now all of a sudden, she's in a prominent spot on the tournament without having to exactly just roll through the competition.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. I was going draw as well. This was my second draw of the first round. And my last draw of the first round. So spoiler alert, I guess. But I think the Waka thing is definitely very much in play here. Let's move over to the right side of the bracket. At the very top, we have Starlight Kid, who I hear is pretty good, against Haruka Umasaki, and of course, Ami Sarai versus Unimon. Let's talk on Ami Sarai versus Unimon first. If Unimon, by the way, folks, if you haven't figured out yet, Unimon is part of this roster. She's on every show. She is on every show now. She just doesn't have any faction members ever at any of the shows, so she just kind of chills in the opening matches. Never loses. She just kind of is there. But I think this is a very intriguing match because it's to quote Powerhouse House, Powerhouses. Lots of lariats, I'm sure. Lots of trading, lots of running into each other, lots of meat slapping, all that good stuff. I'll go with Amido to win, because obviously, I think they're obviously higher on Ami, and I think giving her a win isn't the worst thing here.
Yeah, look, she's the future of Stardom champion. I think, obviously, Unimon, they do like her, but she's not in position yet where they're going to go out of their way to protect her more than they have to. I think up against someone at Amy's level who we know like Stardom do seem to like. She gets a lot of decent spots. She recently main evented a show in January, a pay-per-view show, I should specify. So I think the logical move here is she advances, even though of the two, I do prefer Unimon.
Starlight Kid and Haruka Umasaki. One day after Starlight Kid teams with Karma.
Why are you bringing that up? How's that relevant?
I just felt the need. I just wanted to say Haruka Umasaki's not wrestling the day before.
Yeah,
Kid
she's
is
fresher.
In a tournament, nonetheless. So she's going to have 2 matches,
Well, maybe if they win their tag match.
They're not losing to Chan Yoda. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm picking Starlight Kid.
Yeah, Starlight Kid wins here.
She was first round out last year. Enough of that.
Yeah, she did get
Let's not do that again.
First round. I think she wins this one.
That's good. That's good. All right, moving forward, we got Tam Nakano versus Himeka and Natsuko versus Aruaka. I'll let you take this one first on Tam and Himeka.
Well, and why would you let me take this one specifically first of all the matches? Because you know Himeka's my girl, and you know that I have to say she loses this match because it would make no sense for her to win. She's about to go and leave. Meanwhile, Tam has a main event match at the biggest show Stardom have ever put on. So I wonder why I have to do this match.
I just wanted to get you angry.
Tam is winning. You happy?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with Tam after her promo this past weekend or the crime she's committing against Julia.
Yeah, Himeka might want to come with like a swimming cap or something, protect that hair.
Yeah, Tam's going to make the retirement road end on this show.
She's coming in with Edward Scissorhands gimmick.
Yeah, I'm picking Tam here. I think this is a place where I wouldn't, if one of the matches I thought were possible draws didn't happen, wouldn't be shocked if they somehow played this one as a draw. I wouldn't personally, but Himeka's respected enough that it would make sense.
Yeah, the main reason I don't think that is like Himeka's doing a lot of jobs on her way out. So I think for someone at Tam's level, they're going to just have her, bow out in the first round and give Tam the rub moving forward.
Yeah. No, you should. I think Himeka should lose probably most of her matches on the way
If
out.
she wasn't retiring, it'd be a very interesting discussion.
Yeah.
But very different situation.
And I'm picking Natsuko Tora overall.
Yeah, look, if there's any match in this first round which could be a legitimate upset, I do think it's this one. I could see Natsuko maybe giving Ruaka the shine here because of their connection and like it adds a bit of story to them as kind of mentor trainee. That being said, I do think Natsuko Tora advances, but it's an interesting thought experiment.
Yeah. It was nice to have a little consideration there.
Give Ruaka 5 seconds of hope before crushing her dreams.
We move to the bottom bracket here. Mirai versus Hanan, same treatment as Mariah, May, and Rena had in the other side of the bracket. 1 win, and they're off to the technically 3rd round.
Yes.
Which is exciting. Mariah, of course, the reigning, defending Cinderella tournament winner against Hanan. This is actually my most highly anticipated match. I don't know if people know that. 2 of my favorite wrestlers in the world. Future world title preview potentially. Future Wonder of Stardom title preview potentially. I don't know, whatever title Mariah wins. Okay, you get it. Because Mariah's winning one first. That's my point. They're both winning them. But I'm very excited for this. I think Mariah wins, obviously. I wouldn't have the defending Cinderella winner out round 1. But if they wanted to shock everyone and be like, yeah, Hanan's time is now, this would be the win to give her.
Well, I mean, it is that time. She's recently graduated. So if they're going to do the Momo Watanabe style super push out of graduation, this would be the time to start. I kind of want Mariah to have to bring the old Cinderella dress down to the ring and hand it into the referee.
In ashes?
Like you do a championship title match.
In ashes?
Well, if she's burnt it, then yeah. Like she could have a little
she's the
Undertaker style urn. Yeah, but that doesn't mean she,
Maybe
the
this
dress
ash is
itself
on
is
it.
ashes. Yeah, she
Maybe this
maybe
ash
just
is
stood
on it.
under like a soot fire or something. Yeah, she's got to get the
I don't even
aesthetic
want to
down.
know how that happened.
Well, you go back to Victorian era England, and there's plenty of them around. Maybe she's a time traveler. But yeah, she's winning this match.
Saida versus Miyu Amasaki and Natsupoi versus Mina Shirakawa. I remember when that match popped up originally. I was like, oh, come on. It's not as intimidating as it once was, but it still is quite intimidating nonetheless. Miyu Amasaki and Saida. Miyu Amasaki's coming off a passion injection match. She can't let Nanai down here. She can't. I'm picking Miyu Amasaki because at the end of the day, who do they hire on? Miyu Amasaki.
This one, I don't know if favoritism's coming into play here. I get Amasaki's coming off a passion injection match, but I think she's still at the point where they're not going to have her win in this situation.
She won last year.
Give Saida something. I get she's not going to do anything.
Saida got relatively far in last year's tournament. People forget that.
And what's she done since?
The same exact thing she was doing before last year's tournament. Nothing.
Give her something here. Give her a win. That's all I'm asking for. If she can't beat Miyu Amasaki, what is she doing? So, yeah. I'm picking Saida. Yoshihashi is doing well right now.
No, I know, but I'm telling the folks, she's the Yoshihashi wrestler of the roster. She's not going to get a lot of success early on. Then somewhere down the road, she'll find that Hiroki Goto tag. So shut up, Micah. She'll get Micah, and they'll be tag team champions.
The difference is people like Saida before she starts winning.
Hell, that's fine. That's fine. It wasn't about that. It was just about the put. Get out of here. Let's move on. Natsupoi versus Mina Shirakawa. This one is obviously a scary one. You want to talk about another match that could go to a draw, seeing that these two just, they have an interesting relationship. Let's just say that. Long-haired Natsupoi now. Maybe Natsupoi got the long hair because she's like, this would look better in a Cinderella dress. Have we thought about that, folks? Have we thought about that?
Mina's got the shorter hair, so maybe they knew they were matching up and it's like, well, we can't come down with the same haircut.
That could be it. I'm going with Natsupoi here.
Ooh.
Though I'm expecting some sort of nonsense no matter what. This is going to be the match that's either over the top rope or a draw. It's not going to be a pin because Mina's in it, and I don't think Natsupoi's losing clean.
No, I agree. I don't think it's a pin. I mean, I think at least half of these are going to be over the top rope. They do like to favor that, especially early on. I'm going with Mina Shirakawa here. I know she doesn't need to win this tournament to get her title shot, but I don't think she's getting knocked out in the first round. She's got a very easy path to the next round after this one, regardless of who advances there. So I'm giving Mina the victory here.
Natsupoi is my Sonata of the Cinderella tournament. I'm just going to
keep debuting a new finishing move.
I don't know. I haven't talked to her recently. Maybe she
joining Just 5 Girls.
I just I'm just gonna just push her head a little bit just in case.
What we call hope.
Exactly. I mean, I did it with Sonata, it worked out. So you never know. Let's move to the bottom of the bracket here. Koguma versus Tekla and Hina versus Double X. Koguma versus Tekla. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to these things, but Koguma is a force in the Cinderella tournament.
Yes.
She is 2 for 2 and going to the finals. So how do you ruin
why
that?
I have her losing here.
I was gonna say, how do you ruin that? You have her losing the first round to Tekla. That's how you do it.
This is legitimately the toughest first round match to pick because it's so it so doesn't matter. It's not a match between tournament favorites. There's no title implications surrounding this. It's just two people at around the same level who both can win matches. They both can lose matches. I'm giving it to Tekla mainly because Koguma's had a bit of success lately. I think she can afford a first round loss. And if Tekla's going to keep pushing this SWA thing, and if there's any merit to it whatsoever, I think she needs to win here just to give us something.
Tekla's too sold up to get eliminated over the top rope. She's worked too hard. She's made herself stronger. She's gonna succeed. I also would like Tekla like do something. She hasn't done anything since coming back, and I think she's better now than when she was before. So I wouldn't mind her getting at least one win here. And that brings us to Hina versus Double X.
Yes. Cinderella Death is my prediction.
I'm picking Double X no matter what.
Yeah, I can't see them bringing anyone in as a surprise here that is going to lose to Hina, of all people. Like, unless it's one of the rookies from New Blood Premium, which would be a very interesting choice. They're losing, Hina is.
All right, let's kick it back to the top left of the bracket. I had Utami and Nanai go to a draw, so Mike is in for me. That means it brings it to you.
Yes. I have Micah
Micah
going up against Nanai. And this is where I think Nanai gives a win. I think, 7-Up lost. I know it's shocking. 7-Up have lost to My Hime in the past.
Sure.
I think Micah is someone that, I could see Nanai liking enough to say, yeah, I'll give you the rub here by going over the top rope. Micah is strong enough to do decently well here and be a believable kind of winner against someone on Nanai's level. So maybe it's a hoping, because you've got to understand now that Himika's leaving, a lot of my fandom stock has been moved to the other part of the tag team. So like I'm investing heavily in Micah, which also comes with the blind optimism. So I'm picking Micah to beat Nanai Takahashi here.
I got Julia versus Azumi. You have Julia versus Suzuki. I am picking Julia to move on. I have a feeling you are not.
Yes, this is where I have Hazuki beating Julia, continuing a little bit of a trend and setting up a potential World of Stardom title match, maybe in Fukuoka, because we know they like their hometown natives.
Don't tease me with a good time. You know I'm in for that one. And then Mariah May will move on, so that will bring us to I will have Julia versus Mariah May. You'll have Hazuki versus Mariah May. Yes. I'll pick Julia to move to the quarterfinals.
And I have Hazuki beating Mariah May to move to the quarters herself.
I hope Mariah May is the one that wins all these matches, and we're all wrong. Shout out to Mariah May.
Well, you guys are friends now, so.
Yes, that's true. That's true. We got Shuri versus Saki Kashima. I have Shuri knocking Saki Kashima's head off again.
Oh, do you? I have Saki winning this one.
That makes sense.
To keep the rivalry going, Shuri can't win every match, and this is the environment where Saki Kashima would cause damage. So I have Saki Kashima hitting the revival pin, getting her win over Shuri, and giving her reason to inflate her ego once more against her.
You're gonna have another deep run for Saki Kashima.
I believe.
All right. And then I had a draw with Kawatani and Mayu, as did you. So
yes,
X move forward. We'll get back to that after. Starlight Kid versus Ami Sarai. I got Starlight Kid winning.
So do I.
Tam Nakano versus Natsuko. I actually have a draw here.
I have this. Well, I don't know if I have a draw. I have either double elimination draw or double
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. They're both
I think we're going to get some kind of mess and mockery here. Yeah. I actually think Natsuko Tora is going to sacrifice herself to give Starlight Kid a good run to the finals here.
That'd be a beast story.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of that. But yeah, that's kind of, so we're on the same page there.
Yeah. Top right, we both believe in the same storyline.
Yeah. Next round, we'll have Mirai versus Mina.
Well, it's either Ida Amasaki versus Natsupoi Mina first. So I have Mina beating Saida and then losing to Mirai.
Okay. I'll have. Okay.
You go.
I have Natsupoi beating Mirai.
Okay. Yep.
Redemption for last year.
Yeah, that makes sense. We've got sort of a very different setup here. I have Mirai beating Mina just because I think, like, with Mina getting a title shot already, she doesn't need to win the tournament.
Sure.
And Mirai is someone where I think it's an acceptable loss for her in her position. Go out over the top rope, repeat of last year. And if if Mina Shirakawa was to win the Wonder of Stardom Championship, Mirai would be a logical sort of first challenger, perhaps.
I can tell everyone right now that Double X is not Suzu Suzuki, but the amount that I want you to be right and for Suzu Suzuki to get to the quarterfinals just to make Mirai lose again is very tempting. That being said, we got Tekla versus Double X.
Mm-hmm.
I got Double X moving on.
I have Tekla winning here because I'm keeping with the belief that Double X
Right.
is Cinderella Death.
Yeah. I got you. All right. That's fine. I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
Watch it be Takumi Iroha or Kyrie or Mercedes Monet, and then I'm
It's gonna be someone that just like wins the whole thing.
Yeah,
and we're gonna be like,
it will be the big show.
Yeah, it'll be a big show. All right, so we kick it back to the left top of the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, I have Micah and Julia. You have Micah and Hazuki.
That is correct.
And I have Micah going over Julia to earn herself a world title match heading to the semifinals.
So we're both thinking the Fukuoka pay-per-view needs a match set up.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah. It's just the whom that we're changing.
Yeah.
I have Hazuki beating Micah here, the Battle of Fukuoka. No real reason here beyond like Micah made the semifinals 2 years ago. Hazuki made it last year. So she has the momentum when it comes to Cinderella. Sure, whatever.
Sure, your guess, whatever. I don't know. Anyways, kick it back to the bottom left.
Mm-hmm.
No idea what I have. I have Shuri versus X. You have Saki Kashima versus X.
I do indeed.
I have Shuri winning, I guess.
Yep. I have Saki Kashima winning because
I told you the bottom left of this bracket is so difficult because it makes no sense for the semis.
I think Saki Kashima beats Waka here because like Waka can have a little run and a feel good moment, and losing to a revival pin or something doesn't make her look bad without her again running roughshod just because she won one single match. So
I'm starting to get this like really like weird thought that maybe they're just gonna shock us all and do Micah and Tomoka Inaba in the semifinals.
You think the big upset in the first round is going to be Tomoka Inaba?
Well, obviously I didn't, but now that I've gotten this far, I think it might be.
It's okay. We can press stop on the record button and just
No, we can't. No, we can't. It's no, we can't. But like, I want that now. That's what I want. I want Micah and Tomoka in the semis. That'd be badass.
Sure. I mean, it flies in the face of so much logic here.
The Taka Michinoku school of badassery in the semifinals. Let's go. Anyways, that's not what I said. I said Shuri and Micah. You have Hazuki and
Saki
Kashima.
Bit of a difference in
because both of those sound right. Neither of ours sound right. We'll watch like Saya Kamatani is just gonna run it to the semifinals for no reason. We're just gonna be like, oh cool. No, Tomoka, I'm telling you. Anyways, Starlight Kid moving all the way to the semifinals by default for both of us. Mm-hmm. And onto the bottom, I have Natsupoi and Double X with Natsupoi moving to the semifinal, setting up Starlight Kid versus Natsupoi. And you have?
I have Mirai versus Double X. And no, I don't. I have Mirai versus Tekla. Sorry. Mirai versus Tekla with Mirai winning and going through to the semifinals.
Poor Mirai coming up short once again.
that may be intentional. It may be part of the story in my head.
That is to be fair, that has been the Mirai story every single time. I wouldn't mind if that was correct. It's weird to like try to predict. It's so weird trying to predict this term this year, and I love every bit of it. I love how wrong I'm gonna be, folks. I love it. I don't want to be an expert on this part.
I mean, the bottom right, because there's so few like legitimate Cinderella winners in my head, makes it very difficult to predict.
Which is funny because I think the bottom right between Natsupoi and Mina like 3 months ago alone was enough. We now it's like they're not winning.
That's probably a favorite, and it doesn't really line up now. But
so
that's good.
Yeah, so you have Hazuki and Saki Kashima.
Yes.
and Starlight
Kid and
Kid
Mariah.
and Mirai.
Mhm.
I have Micah and Shuri and Starlight Kid and Natsupoi. Listen. I'm not saying I booked you a great final 3 matches for the final night, but I absolutely did. You're welcome, everybody. Prepare to not get any of them. So I'm gonna go with Micah and Starlight Kid.
I'm going Hazuki over Saki Kashima, ending another incredible run, and Starlight Kid over Mirai to set up the final.
And we're both picking Starlight Kid.
Yes. She was my pick at the start of the year. Like when we were talking about this stuff, Cinderella Tournament, Starlight Kid's winning. And then the Mina Shirakawa situation came up. And I'm like, Mina's winning. But now she's got a title match. I'm going back to my original pick. It was always meant to be, clearly.
I picked Starlight Kid last year. Didn't go well.
No.
I'm sticking to my guns. Gotta stick to my guns. I gotta stick to the guns. I gotta get my Starlight Kid mask on, and I just gotta be cheering from the sidelines. So when
you have a Starlight Kid mask?
I do not. I have an Io Shirai mask. That's the best I can do.
So do I.
Once I get a Starlight Kid mask, we'll have a better conversation. Okay. But for now.
Why? Because I won't be distracted by your face.
Sure. I think it'd be funny if I just sat here in a Starlight Kid mask the whole time. I think it'd be funny. Anyways, that is our bracketology this time around. I expect neither of us to be all that right, but as long as we both get Starlight Kid, I think we'll be happy.
Yeah, like we can't laugh at the other person if we don't pick the winner because we're both in the Starlight Kid bandwagon together. It's just how everything else unfolds we completely disagree with.
As everyone can see, if you're on the YouTube, this is Trent's bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Take a picture if you want. Don't take a picture. I don't care. And here's my oblivion. Have fun figuring that thing out. I can't even figure it out. It's awful. It looks terrible. But in the end, you can figure out that Starlight Kid still won.
Can you?
Kinda, because it's the little mark. That's the only one that looks correct. That's the only mark that looks correct. And I'm going to take it off the screen so no one else can see it. But that's it. That's it for the Stardom Bracketology preview. If you're on YouTube, head over to the Patreon. Check out the TJPW Grand Princess 2023 review with Ryan Dilbert. Thank you so much for listening here on YouTube. If you're on the Patreon, just wait a few seconds and we'll be back. Trent, do you have anything to plug before I get the hell out of here?
Not really. I'm just going to plug happy vibes heading into the Cinderella tournament. Wish everyone a happy bracket-filled couple of weeks and hope that your brackets are not as correct as mine.
I mean, if there was a competition to enter, like where we win something, I'd say that, but I hope someone's correct. If someone has a perfect bracket, let me know. At Scott E.Wrestling.
What did I get?
I want to see. Nothing. But what you do
not even your gratitude and
no, because you know why they get nothing? Because someone's going to fill it out after the fact. Be like, oh, I got a perfect bracket. Get out of here.
Got a time data. I should also say you can find me on Twitter at OneUpCulture.
That was the whole point, but you said nothing. So,
anyways, I said things, just not what you thought I was going to say.
Anyways, head over to the Patreon if you want to listen to the TJPW review. Otherwise, so long, farewell, bye-bye.